Elijah's job was to talk to God and tell the Israelites what God said. He was a prophet who was zealous for God. Unfortunately, that time the rulers of Israel were Ahab and his wife Jezebel. They were the most wicked leaders Israel ever had. They didn't care for what God said, and they made Elijah's life hard. Ahab and his wife worshipped Baal instead of God. It was an idol, a false god. Idols can be anything that gets the attention that we should be giving to God. It can be anything, money, or even people. And so, there was a conflict between God and Baal as to who was feeding the people. And if we put ourselves in the place of God, we will realize how offending this is. God made heaven and earth, gave rain and seed to feed the people, and in the end, all this glory went to an idol? It's like a musician who writes a song for the love of his life. Then the song is stolen and sung by another who gets all the credits. Humans will hate if something like this happens to them, and God even more. So God sent Elijah to tell Ahab and Jezebel that it won't rain for a while, no crops would grow. So Israelites would run out of food and would think Baal is angry and would blame Ahab. When the king heard this, he got angry. But God told Elijah to go and hide in the valley. And just like he said, there was no rain. But God fed Elijah by a raven. But why a raven? Raven has symbolism. First raven speaks loneliness. So God spoke to Elijah's heart to comfort him and show him that he understands his loneliness. Second, they also represent judgment. For those who mock their father, and Israel had mocked their father by denying that God cared for them and hence lost her spiritual sight. Third raven is an unclean bird with no loyalty. The best example of raven sent out by Noah during the flood. It did not return like the dove because it was feeding on the carcasses of the bodies floating. So God uses this creature to show Elijah his sovereignty, that even the ravens obey him. The last but most important point, in the book of Psalms 147:9, he provides food for the young raven when they call. So this is a reminder for Elijah that God is caring for them. That since Elijah trusts in the Lord, he will not be abandoned, just like God hasn't abandoned the raven. We too may be in a similar situation with the lockdown, the virus, not knowing what tomorrow holds. If our jobs are secure, if we have financial provisions, will our loved ones and us be safe? Will we have enough food? And so on. But God wants to tell us that He cares about us as much as He cares about the raven. Jesus puts it this way in Luke 12:24. Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. and how much more valuable you are to God. Yes, how much valuable are we than them?